Jin Sakai and Atsu's. Two stories that parallel, but two very different circumstances and world. Combat is the first thing that stuck out to me. Jin solely uses the sword, while Atsu uses so many different weapons. But it's also the same exact combat, is even though Atsu has Yari, dual sword, Odachis, and Kusugami, Jin has his stances and they all fulfill the same purpose, being able to fight different enemies and types. But it also fits the characters better. Jin is a samurai, a master of one weapon. They are taught to master their sword and mind, so Jin would much rather adapt what he already knows for the situation. While Atsu is someone who takes what she can do, win, and survive by any means necessary. So she'll learn any new trick or weapon, even if it's underhanded. Is an honorable warrior. He has been taught the code of Bushido, and as a samurai, his sword is a part of him. Using another weapon would be an offense, which also gets me to the next thing. Atsu does not care or have an honor code. That's why it's so fun to see her right at the beginning stealth kill all these people, throw a sword into someone's face, and she doesn't care. Then has to fight with himself to get stealth kills. When Yuna says it's the only way, he struggles so much to just stab someone in the back. As Zoro says, a swordsman's greatest shame is a scar on the back, but stabbing your opponent in the back is a much greater shame. It is engraved in Jin to announce yourself and fight with honor. Atsu has none of that. She just wakes up in the morning with revenge on her mind. That's why a lot of things that Jin has to unlock, Atsu just has them off the gate. She'll stab someone in the back and there's nothing holding her back. The only thing she does not have at the beginning that Jin does have is the ability to see people through objects, being able to sense them, feeling your surroundings. But it just shows how untrained she is. The other thing is their fighting style. Jin is trained so his strikes are smooth, in control. Atsu's are wild, nearly ghostly. She has never been formally trained, and it shows until she learns from her masters, but even then she only gets the basics and then puts her own wild style on it. Personally, I like how things are unlocked in Tsushima. In Yotei and Tsushima, it's both tied to exploration and character progression, but in Yotei everything is taught to Atsu. She finds a mentor or a master to teach her the new weapons or the shinobi tool. Upgrades are only found by finding altars of reflection. But with Jin, it's tied to his legend. Growing more, he gets more powerful. The more camps you clear, the more people you save. It shows as he fights, he's learning, growing, adapting to better fit his situations, taking things he's found and applying it to what he needs. He creates the smoke bombs, the kunais, the other things. Atsu is just handed all her items from others. Except pocket salt. She does take that off, of course. And the only weapon Jin has to be taught is a bow, which Atsu can just buy. I do like how the charms in Yotei are unlocked. It's a lot better. They're unlocked just by getting more charms and not having to clear all the fox shrines. But I like in Tsushima, if you do a lot in the first act, he unlocks most of the items just by playing. Atsu, you have to go find them. Want to fight brutes easier? Go get the Odachi. Feels like it takes Atsu longer to be as strong as Jin. Well, yes, she did start off with more. It takes her longer to get the same place. Thing though is the quest with teachers in Yotei, it kind of just feels like go clear these camps and come back. In Tsushima, allies quests feel like they grow with the story, and it seems if you don't do them, it will get much harder. In Yotei, they don't really feel necessary or important. Of course, Yotei just does have the better combat. It's a sequel. What did you expect? The things they added in Yotei, like extra weapons, throwing weapons, guns, were just really good additions and feels like the natural progression. I like in Yotei though, every NPC you interact with feels like they have their own journey, from Old Lady Hannah to Kakezo. They all have their own worlds happening. Even the people who give you armor and the bounty man all seem to have such big lives and are being greatly affected by Saito. Tsushima, unless you're an important main character, you're just some random background guy. Like, I feel nothing for the people who upgrade my gear. I'm like, who are you? But the characters that actually get attention in both games are such compelling characters, from a humble sake seller to your main ally. Story-wise, Tsushima was just more compelling, and Ghost of Yōtei, I like how personally it all felt, I wanted to kill these bosses. I was like, Oni, when I catch you, Oni. But in Tsushima, with the exception of Kotan, I never wanted to fight a single one of the main named bosses. Yotei, it was all personal, down to every enemy. Oh, you working for Saito? Hold this. But in Tsushima, it was all just business, just war, until the bosses like Ryuzo. I didn't want to have to fight my best friend or have to fight my uncle. It just made the story in Tsushima more compelling. You felt more of the impact on Jin. I like the journeys though in both. I think they're equals. Jin's journey is from Jin Sakai, the samurai, to the ghost, while Atsu is the exact opposite. She starts off as a ghost, and then as time goes on becomes a person again. And I like how Yotei used the title of the ghost, or Onryo, a vengeful spirit who will cut down any ally to Saito. I really felt that the enemies had more of a fear for her. It felt like the legend was really spreading. Now that you have a base of how these games differ, I kind of want to numerically rank which one is better. Of course, off the bat, presentation. Basically, how the game looks. And honestly, it's a tie. Neither gets the point, as they both just look so good. Combat goes to Yotei, hands down. Just the expansion with like throwing weapons, the guns, and all the new different weapons. It just flows so much better when you have everything unlocked. It's not that Tsushima is bad, it's just Yotei is more evolved. And of course it is. No, but how you unlock in game progression goes to Tsushima. Atsu may have had more than Jin at the end of the game, but Jin unlocks it way faster and in a cooler way. Learning to adapt to your situation just seems a lot cooler than going to a teacher. Now, side quest also goes to Tsushima. The side quest, if you get down to it, are exactly the same. Go clear out Gist Camp, go kill these enemies. But I think just the presentation in Tsushima is better. Right? The ally quests move with the story and are not just go clear these camps. Or even if it's just kill these enemies somewhere, there's always an atmosphere to it. In Yotei, a few of the legendary quests and mythical quests were definitely better, and the bounties were a lot of fun. But I feel like Tsushima had a larger quantity of good quests, while Yotei had some really high class ones, but all the other ones were not as good. Characters, I'm honestly going to make this one a tie, where they both get points. Now, hear me out. In Yotei, I love how everyone has a voice, and it feels so lively. But I feel like because so many characters did get their own story, it stretched it out thin. I love everyone in Yotei from Jubei and beyond, but the characters in Tsushima just go through so much more development. They grow so much in the game. Yotei, it only feels like Atsu grows as a character and Jubei a little bit, but Jin, Shimura, Taka, Yuna, Ryozu, Kenji all feel like these super deep characters and change and grow for better or worse. Now, main story, that goes to Tsushima without a doubt. I love Yotei's story. Atsu's journey of ghost to living and watching her journey for revenge all the way to letting revenge go and fighting for her family and what she has left. But Jin's fight against the Mongols, the betrayals, how he inspires the people to the final boss where he fully accepts the ghost held me way more than Atsu. Content, Tsushima wins. And that's really for one reason alone. The version that you will buy comes with Legends modes and the Iki Island DLC. Oh, Tsushima beats Yotei because of that all day. This one is a little bit of a touchy subject, but I'm giving it a point. Deaths in the game. Deaths can make a story flourish. It can bring out emotions of sadness, grief, and if done right, it makes the player feel every moment. In Tsushima, Taka's death changes Jin greatly for the rest of the game. Him killing Ryuzo is proof of that. They handled death so much better. I cried when the horse died in Tsushima. And the option of killing Shimura, I felt the weight of it so much more. Now, for Yotei, let's just roll the clip back of how I reacted to Jubei's death. Well, was with us. I'm going to quickly run through quick points just to even some things out and really get everything. Main villain, Yotei. Saito is just way more charismatic. Final boss goes to Tsushima. It's so heartfelt. Yotei was more fun, but the emotion of Tsushima wins it. Side content. Yotei's shamisen and drawing are way more fun than the haikus. I always felt like my haikus were the dumbest thing ever created, and Yotei just has better things to do that aren't main story and side quests. Bosses also goes to Yotei. There was more, and they were more unique and a lot of fun kicking their teeth in. One last one. Main character. I'll give another tie to this one. I think both Jin and Atsu are amazing protagonists with such different but similar stories. One becomes a ghost while the other lets go. You understand both their reasons to fight, do the things they do. You feel connected to them as the game goes on and understanding their growth. But at the end, yeah, I would personally say for me, Tsushima's the better game, and if anyone's going to want to play a Ghost game, I'm going to recommend Tsushima first. Now, that's not saying you shouldn't play both games. I think both games are great. I'm not saying Yotei is horrible just because Tsushima is better, but personally to me, Ghost of Tsushima just had more going for it, more to make me intrigued. I personally found the story and game progression to be a lot better than Yotei. So Ghost of Tsushima is the better game. Now, if you want to see what I thought about both games, there's 2 videos for each of those here.